Hello and welcome all to my YouTube channel Java Stories, and today we are going to look into this collector APIs. This is the fourth video in the series of Java Stream APIs, and till now we have done fairly easy questions, but to tackle some hard questions we should have a proper understanding of this collectors API, and today we will precisely look into these collector APIs. So let's get started. So consider this is a list of strings ABC, and if I have to do the uppercase of all the elements in the string, in the list of strings, so how will I do with the help of stream APIs? Very simple, list of stream dot map, and then we just do the collect in the collectors.toList. So what we will see now, this how the breakup of this collectors.toList happens, we will see that now. So consider this like a stream of characters which we are receiving A, B and C. Then as soon as we do collectors.toList, what actually happening inside that? Let's see this. First of all, what the stream APIs is doing it, those collector APIs, they first create a collection. So this is what we say a supplier basically. The first parameter of this collector APIs, we just provide the supplier, any collection we could provide it, and then what's the second step we need to do? We need to add these stream elements ABC into this collection. So this is how the collector APIs work. Create a collection, then add those elements in the collection. But if we see the example here, you could clearly see what we have done. Now we are breaking those collectors.toList into separate parameters. So as I have said, the first part is basically providing the collection itself through a supplier. So we have provided this array list of strings because we need to collect all the stream elements in the list. And then the second is, as I have said, that we need basically an accumulator. So basically what it is basically a buy consumer basically. This is a list which we are getting from the supplier, and this is the S is the element basically which we receive from the streams, and we just add that element in the stream. So in the list, see this creating a collection, and then we have this combiner. So we have seen these two steps in the collector APIs. Is this enough? Do we want any other step? Let's see. What happens if we are working in a environment where we have multiple cores, and this is quite common in any machine today. We have a lot of cores, 3 cores, 4 cores, 16 cores. CPUs are coming nowadays. So now if we have to utilize those cores of the CPU for the parallelization of our streams, so what we have the streams of data which is coming, and then we have these collector APIs. So basically the JVM is now going to create separate collectors, and suppose the first element of the stream come to this collector, it will add in its own array list. The second stream of characters come in the code through collector, it will add in its own array list. And the third step, after all the streams characters have been consumed by the collector 1 and collector 2, we need to basically now combine these two array lists. So basically we have another collector which is a final collector, and it's going to process both these arrays and combined and get me a final array. So there is a third step involved in the collector APIs, which we call it a combiner, whose responsibility is just to merge these two array lists so that we could take all the codes in the CPU. So precisely now we are going to look at the first one is creating a collection which we call the supplier. The second one is accumulator, and the third one which we are now going to see is basically this, we are getting these two lists. Of course this is a binary operator we have applied on these two lists, and how we have applied, we have just lp1 dot add on lp2. So this step is called the combiner step, and these three steps basically defines the collector. interface. Accumulator, creating a collection, and then we have a combiner. And are we done yet? Let's see. Consider now an example where we have list of ABC characters and we want to do a two uppercase. So how we do in our string APIs? Simple enough. List a string, we do a map, and then we do a collectors.joining. Suppose we want to join this stream of characters, and also we want to what we want to do a comma b comma c is what we want. So this is the way we are going to write it. Now let's, instead of using this collectors.joining, let's see how we could use our own collectors API if we have to do this kind of a stuff. So what we are going to do, we are going to create a string builder uh, as a supplier, because I need to add elements to this string builder. Why not we have used string? Because string is an immutable, and when we start adding the elements in a string, it will give you another string, and we cannot join the elements in a same string because of immutability. So the best way to do this is using a string builder, and then we have appended the character that is coming from the string to this string builder, and we continuously do that. And after a while we do a combiner step, s1.s2 s1.append s2. Now if we check what is going to return, of course it's going to return a string builder. This collector, these three parameters are going to return me a string builder, but in our case it is a string. So what we need to do it here, there is one more step in the collector API which we need to provide, and we call it a finisher. Once the result has been collected, if we want to apply any other thing, that step we call the finisher, because we need to convert our string builder to the string. And this is the fourth part of the collector. And just for this purpose, we have a special collector called Collectors.collectingAndThen. Of course, this collectors with the S is a factory method, provides a lot of implementation of the collector APIs. So this is one of them, and we could precisely use collectors.collecting.then, and we just provide these three elements in the collector.off. We could even provide this step here itself just for showing you collectors.collecting, and then we have just provided supplier, accumulator, and then the combiner, and the second parameter of this collecting, and then we have provided the finisher. These examples doesn't look so good. Let us see even a better example of collecting, and then suppose we want to join basically. So we have used this collectors.joining as a first parameter. Of course, is also going to return a collector, and what it's going to do is going to join all the strings, all the stream of characters, and then after that I provide the second parameter as a finisher here. So the first parameter of collecting and then is the collector itself, and then you could provide the second parameter as a finisher, and this code looks great because ultimately there is very, I would say, rare situation only where we are going to implement our own collector. We are definitely going to use a lot of factory methods on the collector APIs with an S keyword, and then we are going to use this collecting and then a lot of time to provide a finisher here. Now let's look into the collector interface. As I have told you, this is a supplier, this is a buy consumer, this is a binary operator which is a combiner, and then we have a finisher, and then we have some characteristics which we will just tell you in a little while. So we have T, A, and R. So if you look at this A is basically a supplier. Sometimes this is very internal of the collector APIs, and we don't have to deal with this A most of the time. R is what we are going to return it. Of course, this is going to be the result of this finisher. you could clearly see the R is the returning type and A is basically the supplier. In most of the cases, this finisher is not provided. So what's basically it means that finisher, the type of finisher is equal to the type of supplier itself. So basically it's an identity element. Whatever supplier it is, we are just going to return the same thing. So if the finisher is not present, then it means that the identity element is itself the finisher, and by default that is the value of the characteristics as well, identity finish. Hope you got about this thing. If you do not, then just repeat this video again to check all these 5 steps of the collector APIs. Out of the first 3 are most important, and then the fourth one we may or we may not use it, and the fifth one is hardly anybody uses these characteristics. And thanks for watching this video. Please like, please subscribe, and please share this video if you like this video. We are going to see a lot of tough questions now in the upcoming videos for the stream APIs. Of course, we are going to use the collector APIs a lot from now on. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.